Hey, cheers, everybody. Welcome to Good Bets, Good Times. This is the podcast for the weekend warriors, the recreational DJs looking to level up their sports betting game and, of course, have a great damn time along the way. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and hey, let's talk some ball, shall we? I am your host, Nate Tuttle of NT Sports. Thank you for listening. Today's episode, we will recap this past weekend in college and NFL betting, how we did, what went wrong, what went right, what we learned along the way, and then, hey, we'll talk about an absolutely loaded college football and NFL slate, our bets this weekend, games we're eyeing up, the blacklist, games we are avoiding at all costs, but we're going to love to watch anyways, and of course, the main event, our best bet of the weekend. So, hey, welcome back. If you're a listener, you've been around, and you want to help us out, go ahead and subscribe, rate, review the podcast. Follow along with us on all of the socials, and follow us along on the Action app where we post all of our picks throughout the week. So things that we talk about today, obviously, we bet early, typically Sunday, Monday, Tuesday before the podcast. And then there's some bets that we may place throughout the weekend, some live bets, etc. So follow along the Action app, ntsports.bio there to hang out and follow along. And let's dive right in. Let's look at how we did this past weekend. Actually, we've had, after a kind of a slow start to the season, back-to-back winning weekends, we went 3-2 in college football, plus 0.6 units, and then 2-0 in the NFL, plus 1.6 units. And let's talk about the good, the bad, the what the fuck.
The good, the bad, the what the fuck.
Starting with the good. Dolphins on Thursday Night Football against the Bills, plus 12.5. This was an ugly one, but we felt the number was high. Everyone in the world is super down on the Dolphins. Rightfully so. They looked terrible the first 2 weeks, but hey, this is a primetime Thursday night, ugly divisional game. 12.5 was too many points. We took 12.5. Got a win. Good bet. College football. Iowa, money line on Friday night. Unexpected shootout here, man. They came out. Both teams scored on most of their first 3-4 possessions. It was 21-21, I think, at one point. Iowa ended up pulling away in the second half, 38-24, I believe, something like that. And, 38-28, won by 10. But we had the money line here, got up minus 117. Felt it was going to be a close game, and it was throughout. Could have got away with betting the 3.5 on the, I think it got down to 2.5 actually. But it just came down to Iowa in their defense, which turned out that wasn't the case at all. They scored a ton of points. Iowa's offense actually started to cook a little bit, and came out with a W. Good bet there. A couple of fun ones on Saturday. We were very close on Saturday, going 0-4 in college football. Ended up 2-2 on Saturday, 3-2 in the weekend with the Iowa Friday night bet. But Oklahoma, we had this at 5.5, bet it early, got up to 6.5, 7. I think it came back a little bit. But we needed an end of the game safety to cover this game. If you won Auburn, I feel bad for you. That's a tough beat. One of the worst beats you'll have in a while, until we talk about the Sunday games. But we had the 5.5. The safety, it was 5-point game. The safety at the end got us home. Put the game at 7. So felt good about that bet all week. And maybe a little bit of luck, maybe not, whatever you want to call it. We were on the right side. We'll take it. The next one's Temple plus 24. So Temple was hanging around this entire game. The Texas or Georgia Tech pulled away at the end. Temple kept fighting, drove down, and threw a last-second touchdown pass to give us the cover at 24. So we will take it. And then more good NFL. Like I said, we went 2-0 in the NFL. Our second bet there was the Chargers money line. Very, very close game. But once again, our numbers said bet Chargers. I think we had it right at 3.5, so we weren't going to bet the spread. But enough value at minus 140 on the money line to roll with that. And yeah, great game. Game-winning field goal by Dicker, the kicker, at the very end there to pull that one out. And that wraps up the good. Now the bad, a few bad bets, especially in college football. One, we went with UTEP minus 5.5 on Saturday night. Lost outright as 5.5 point favorites. This game actually went up to 6.5. I think it might have came back down towards or before kickoff as well. We had some good CLV there. Came back down to 5.5. So should have been a sign, but we'd already bet it. And ULM comes out and wins this game by 6. So bad bet there on UTEP. Really were optimistic after UTEP's first few games of the season that they'd come out and this offense was cooking, and we had a good feeling about this one. Our numbers said, we had UTEP by like 8 points, so good value there, but didn't come home for us. More bad. ECU. This is like the third time we bet ECU. We're actually betting them again this week as well, tomorrow night actually. But this one we got at 7.5. It dropped from 8.5 down to, I think it closed at 6.5. So we got on there in the middle at 7.5. And ECU was right in this game. We thought they'd battle the whole time. They're at home against BYU. Ended up getting crushed. But I think it was 34-13. And it was 6-3 going into halftime. ECU decides on their own 1 yard line, they want to, with 59 seconds to go, they want to start throwing the ball and do a little drive here and try to get some points before halftime. And then they immediately throw a pick six going to halftime down 13-3. And it just kind of unraveled from there. Another pick in the second half and just could only get field goals on offense. So yeah, bad bet with ECU, but we're back on the Pirates this weekend. So don't worry there. And then the what the fuck? Oh, Utah, man. So, we've been high on Utah all summer long. Love Devin Dampier coming in, bringing in the OC as well from New Mexico. This offensive line, defensive line. Had a future on them to win the Big 12. Devin Dampier Heisman, which went from plus 6,000 where we got it down to 2,000, plus 2,000. May even been a little bit lower before this kickoff. And they got dominated by Texas Tech. And what surprised me, though, is they got dominated in the trenches. The Texas Tech defensive line is legit. I think they're the clear-cut favorite to win the Big 12, but did not expect this game to turn out the way it did. Utah ends up losing 34-10, outgained by 200 yards, 4 turnovers. Just bad. And, maybe it's one loss for Utah. Texas Tech is really damn good. There's still a shot they could win out and make the Big 12 championship, play Tech again. But a lot of crazy shit happens in the Big 12. So we will see, but still, this goes in the what the fuck column because I was not expecting Utah. I didn't bet this game because I had the futures and all I wanted was a Utah outright win. Didn't care how it happened and wasn't even close. And not even to mention, Baron Morton got hurt. Backup quarterback for Tech comes in and plays pretty damn well. Didn't miss a beat. So, we'll chalk that up in the what the fuck column and we will move right along. So starting off with, what do we have this weekend? Big weekend of college football. We'll start with that. Week 5 in college football. It's a crazy weekend last weekend. We had another wild weekend this weekend as well, starting off on Thursday night where we have our first bet of the weekend. That is ECU. We're back on the ECU train. This is like the 4th time we bet ECU, but we can't stop getting good numbers with this team. We're 2-1 so far betting. I'm hoping to go 3-1 here. So we did take the money line in this one at minus 148 against Army. We have this line at 4.5. True money line should be somewhere around minus 171. Not much value anymore. This line did shoot up. It's anywhere from minus 4. Was that minus 5.5 at one point? Got bet back down a little bit on Army. If you could get to 5.5 and 6 at some point, if it goes back up, Army could probably keep this close, probably within a touchdown. But I have East Carolina winning this game outright. I went from 2.5 up to 5.5, back down to 4.5. Money line's back down to 192, so got about almost 50 cents of value on this bet, which we're pretty excited about. And really, this is another home game for ECU. A bounce back spot. It is a short week against this Army option offense, which is never easy. But at the same time, Army struggles on defense. ECU can move the ball. They they have to bounce back from that BYU game where they just crumbled in the second half. Where ECU is vulnerable is on the defense through the air, and obviously Army's going to run the option. I'm not sure who's going to play quarterback here. They've alternated between two different quarterbacks. Put up a hell of a fight last weekend against North Texas, losing that one in overtime. And I do think Army kind of grinds this game out, but at the end of the day, ECU's the better team, better offense. They should have no trouble moving the ball on Army's defense. Army will try to grind it out with their option. ECU is actually pretty solid against the run, and Army can't throw. So we will take the home favorite on the money line on Thursday night to kick off the week. That is Thursday at 7:30 on ESPN down in Greenville, North Carolina. Then on Saturday, we have, I believe, five bets on Saturday, 6 total in college football so far. It's probably where we'll stay, but there's a few more we'll iron up. But next up, Cincinnati at Kansas. This one's Saturday at noon on, looks like it's on TNT, in a Memorial Stadium in Lawrence, Kansas. We bet plus 6.5 on Cincinnati here. Yeah, this one's down to minus 4.5. It opened at 5.5, got bet up a little bit right off the bat. We caught it at 6.5, and then it came all the way back down to 4.5 here. So once again, a couple points a COV on this one so far. We'll see how this closes on Saturday. But we have this line at 5, so would not bend it at the current number. I think Kansas most likely wins this game, although I would not be surprised if Cincinnati pulls an upset here. And the total's at 55.5. Should be some points here. And why I'm looking at this one, I mean, one, going to trust my number at 5. I like where this number sits. I like getting the 6.5 on what should be a close Big 12 matchup here. Jalen Daniels, we know, has been dynamic. But don't overlook Brennan Sorsby. He's been outstanding as well, on the ground, through the air. Always worry a little bit about Scott Satterfield as a dog. I actually saw a stat today. 0-7 when he's a dog of 4 more points in a Big 12 game. Well, this is since 2023. I believe he was a coach in 2023. Yeah, he has been. So not great. Definitely trust Lance Leipold more in these situations. But since he is off a bye, got the extra rest, time to prepare. Across the board, looking at these teams, 2 fairly evenly matched teams. This game should come down to the end. It's going to come down to which QB can make the most plays. I think people are going to look at Jalen Daniels and think he's the much better quarterback. Maybe he is, but Brandon Sorsby, don't sleep on Sorsby. All right, he's going to keep this game close. Cincinnati's going to keep this within touchdown. I have the 6.5, minus 110. Next up, Notre Dame in Arkansas. Another Saturday noon game on ABC down in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Razorback Stadium. We bet this one at minus 5.5, minus 105. Would have loved to get a little bit higher. This was a 7 at the immediate open. Missed the 7, missed the 6. Was able to get down at 5.5. And it's down to 4.5 now. I honestly would probably still bet this at 4.5. I have this line at 1. This is going to be a very close game. I would not be surprised if Arkansas pulls an upset here. They've lost 2 in a row. Lost a battle on the road at Ole Miss. Lost a heartbreaker, a tough loss. They're up 28-10 on Memphis. Let Memphis stick around, come back, pull it out at the end. They fumbled going in for a touchdown. It was just bad all the way around. Should not have lost that game. I mentioned this line has moved, and I'm going with the experienced quarterback at home, dual threat guy, Taylon Green, senior experience, playing in Fayetteville against this Notre Dame defense, which is really fallen off this year. They lost Al Golden to the NFL, and USC has not been able to pick it up. I don't know if it's a talent issue. I don't know if it's a coaching issue, but they can't stop anybody. This total 64.5. And CJ Carr on the road. It's a tough environment. I know we played tough at Miami. This is going to be a little bit different down in SEC country. So give me the Hogs. Give me the 5.5. And give me Taylon Green in this team. And Sam Pittman battling for his job after that loss at Memphis. He was kind of already on the hot seat, but after that loss at Memphis, he needs this one. Needs this one for sure. So this team's going to battle, keep it within a field goal. Next up, number 1 Ohio State goes out to Washington. Seattle, Washington, Husky Stadium. This is all the way down to 8.5. So we bet this at plus 13.5, minus 110. This is a look-ahead line. So we bet this last week. Ohio State was on a bye. Washington had Washington State. Had a good feeling they were going to crush Washington State. And at look-ahead, I had this line sitting around 8.5. It's down to 8.5 now. My current line for this week has it 7.8. Opened this week at 11.5 and got quickly back down to 8.5. I saw some of the 7.5s pop up, came back up to 8.5. So this line's moving around a little bit. We did see a little bit of buyback. I think anything under 8, folks are going to buy back on Ohio State here. But I based on my numbers, I would be on the fence at 8.5. I would have loved this anything above 10. If you bet early, if you grab this on Sunday, you could have got 11.5, 10.5, maybe even 9.5. At this point, it might be probably going to stay away from me. If it goes down to 7, I might even look at buying back on a little bit on Ohio State here. But this is, like I said, we got it at 13.5 in the look ahead. And really why I'm betting this, I mean, Ohio State is off the bye. They've had some extra time to prepare. Get Julian Sain prepared for his first road start, which is all you're going to hear about this entire week going into the weekend. Sain's first road start out in Washington. And Washington's looked outstanding so far. They have played a fairly weak schedule. I mean, you look at Colorado State, UC Davis, and Washington State last weekend. 20-plus point favorites in all those games. And Damon Williams, that's a name to look out for. He's kind of under the radar. Young guy that may not get a lot of the hype this season. But I tell you what, if he plays well in this game, he's going to get noticed. And if they win this game, you're going to see his Heisman odds skyrocket. So pay attention to this one. They got the weapons, running back Jonah Coleman, got a great receiver in Denzel Boston on the outside. And we'll find out a lot who these teams are. Huskies are stepping up in class, going up against Ohio State. They haven't lost a home game in 22-game home winning streak. They have the firepower to keep this close within a touchdown, possibly pull the upset. And we're going to find out a lot about the Ohio State defense too. So we saw the Texas game, and they gave up 7 points against Texas, nothing against Grambling, obviously, and then 9 against Ohio. And this is going to be a big test. This Washington team's had 3 games under their belt to get prepared for this one. They're cooking. They're firing on all cylinders. And it's going to come down to this Ohio State defense getting stops. And maybe they come out and they're as dominant as they looked in week 1 when they had Arch on the road in Columbus. And we're going to learn a lot about Julian Sain as well. Let's see if they've been holding anything back. I feel like this game, I mean, the total is 52.5. And this is a find out game. But at 13.5, couldn't pass it up. Fired away last week on the early line. Glad I did. As it stands right now, I still think this game will be within a touchdown, but I think the value's pretty much all out of the number. Unless this goes back up towards kickoff. If it gets back up towards 10 later in the week, then I would probably fire around 9.5 or 10. But yeah, 13.5 is what we got. Another look-ahead bet we made. This one did not work out in our favor at all. LSU, Ole Miss. Number 4 LSU going down to Ole Miss. Number 13 Ole Miss. And we bet this one on the look-ahead too. On the money line, minus 110, just a straight money line bet on LSU to win this game. And it's turning out the more we watch Clemson play football, maybe that week 1 win against Clemson wasn't as dominant and as impressive as we once thought. The market has flipped, and even my numbers. So the look ahead line, I had LSU as a favorite, and this is flipped this week. And I have this at Ole Miss minus 2.5, and the current line is kind of been bouncing around. I know it opened at 1.5. It's at 1.5, back down to 1.5 now. So it did go up to 2.5 at one point this week. It's back down to 1.5. Money line at LSU's at plus 102. So definitely lost some value betting this one ahead. Still feel fairly good about LSU winning this game outright. They played really well against Clemson. Clemson turns out they're not good, not nearly as good as we thought. And Ole Miss, they do have their backup court, which Chambliss may end up turning out to be their starting quarterback going forward. This kid is playing very well. This D2 transfer, playing very well in this offense. He may keep this job when Austin Simmons comes back. We will see. And I did look to buy out of this, but I'm just going to roll with it. It's a bad number. This is a bad bet, but we made it, and we're going to stick to our guns here. What we thought last week, we're not going to let this past weekend really change anything for us. We're going to roll with Ole Miss here, even though or with LSU on the money line, and it's going to come down to LSU's defense. Chambliss has looked good, but at the same time, played very well against Tulane, very well against Arkansas at home. This is his third start. It's going to come down to LSU's defense, but we're going to roll with our bet here, I think. We're going to see if this comes back anymore. I did get some buyback at minus 2.5. I do have this game at 2.5. So if I didn't bet the look ahead, I would lean towards Ole Miss. And Lane Kiffin is telling us to take the over here. I don't know if I agree with that, but hey, coach is telling us to do it, so maybe we roll with it. This total is at 55.5. It's been hovering there. It hasn't really moved. So people aren't buying the Lane Kiffin take the over bait here. I don't blame them. Cool. Next bet. 17 Alabama versus number 5 Georgia. This is down in Athens at Sanford Stadium. We bet this at plus 3.5, minus 120. We have this line actually as Bama as a slight favorite, minus 1.4. And this did open at 4. The look ahead was 4.5. Opened this week at 3.5. We snagged it right away at 3.5. Barely. We barely got to 3.5 at minus 120 before it all moved down to 3. Still sitting at 3. Have seen some 2.5s pop up, but still would bet this at 3. Like I said, I have Bama as the favorite, but I want to get that field goal. I want them as a field goal dog in this game. I only want to bet this at 3 or better, but for the 3.5 if it comes back. And so we've been saying it all along. We bet against Georgia a few weeks ago at Tennessee. That came through for us. They ended up winning by that field goal in overtime. Kind of a miracle game at the end. That miracle 4th down touchdown pass by Gunnar Stockton. But we've talked about this isn't the same Georgia team as old. You know what I mean? This is it's a very good, very elite Georgia team. But the same thing with Alabama. These teams are much closer than people want to think, especially after Alabama got blown out by Florida State in week 1. That was a tough spot week 1. Everyone just was completely off the Alabama bandwagon after that first game. I don't know how good Florida State is. I still think they're good. I think they're a playoff team. Maybe we overreacted a little bit on Bama after that loss. They have played well the past couple games. I mean, they haven't played any real tough games. I don't know if you count Wisconsin. There's a Big Ten Power 4 matchup, but and say what you want about DeBoer. They did win this game. They beat Georgia last year. One of the few teams that did. And I don't see how Alabama can't move the ball against this Georgia defense like what Tennessee did a few weeks ago with Ty Simpson in this offense. And I don't know if Bama can win this game, but this is going to come down to a field goal. So taking the 3.5, I think Bama can win this outright on the road. It's a tall task. Maybe I'm totally wrong again. If they lose this game and they lose it bad, then, we'll chalk it up as a loss on Bama. Everything we thought about Bama in the offseason, had them going to the national championship game against Penn State in our preseason predictions, and just, was ready to throw it all away after week 1. But we're going to stick around. We're going to see what they can do here. This is the test. This is the true test. We'll give We'll give Bama and Ty Simpson the benefit of the doubt going on the road at Florida State week 1. But now, SEC rival Georgia, they got to show up in this game. Even a loss here, even a close loss here. They play well. They show that first week game wasn't who they truly are. Then they could still be a playoff team with 2 losses. We will see. But we're going with Bama. If you can get 3 or better, that's what I would bet this at. We got plus 3.5 at minus 120. Cool. Moving on to the NFL. We actually have 2 NFL bets. We'll save one for the showstopper here at the end. But first NFL bet we have this weekend. There's a couple more we may get down on, but as of right now, just 2. We got Packers, 6.5 point favorites, minus 115 is our bet against the Cowboys. This number is up to 7. I think there might be some juiced up 6.5 still available as of today, which is Wednesday of this recording. But I would probably I'd want the 6.5. If you can get the 6.5, bet the 6.5. 7's fine. We have this projected at minus 7.8. Total here is 45.5. And the big reason here is we know the Packers had a inexcusable loss to the Browns over the weekend. That blocked field goal, they let them hang around. They're up 10-0. The defense was dominating the entire game. Some turnovers at the end, blocked field goal. Let the Browns steal one at home. But anytime you go into Cleveland against this defense on the road, it's going to be tough. You got to put them away, and you have the chance. They didn't do that. And this is a different story in Dallas. Dallas has so far one of the worst defenses in the league. We know this is a Micah Parsons revenge spot. He's going to be coming for Dak. And the Packers should have no problem scoring here. And for them to win this by a touchdown, I'm feeling pretty good about. I think this line, I think we got a little bit of a favor here since the Packers did lose to the Browns over the weekend. I think we got a better line than what we would have got. If the Packers take care of business against the Browns over the weekend, this number is probably a lot higher. So we snagged it at 6.5. It looks like there might be some 6.5 still out there. If you can get it, grab that if you want to bet this game. But this is one where the Packers bounce back. Their offense will move the ball. They always have success down in Dallas. And this defense isn't stopping anybody, especially through the air. So rolling with the Packers here. So that's what I've locked in so far. Let's talk about some games we are eyeing up. We haven't pulled the trigger on yet. Follow us along on the Action app throughout the week. And, actually, I missed one. Going back to college football, I missed this completely. We did bet Toledo minus 21 at home against Akron in a big bounce back spot. This line hasn't moved too much. I did open it 21.5, dipped down to 21. There's still some minus 21s out there. And that's where it sits currently. And really here, this is a lost season for Akron. This is not a team that they did win big against Duquesne last week. But this is their first MAC game. This is a revenge spot for Toledo. I don't know if you recall last game of the year when Akron beat Toledo 21-14 as 9-point dogs. And then Toledo last week, they could not put away Western, let them hang around, and they lost that game outright to Western Michigan last week as, I believe, 13.5 point favorites. So we still know this Toledo team's elite. They seem to always do this. They lose these weird games where they're big favorites that they should win. But this is the week they bounce back. And I have this game projected at, where's Toledo here? 24.8. So 24.5, almost 25 points. Once again, same thing here. If, Toledo takes care of business last week, this spread's a lot higher. So I think we're getting a little bit of a discount here because they did lose that game, but they're always a team that bounces back. They'll take care of business against Akron, a team that, we know they're on probation, can't make a MAC championship game. So almost skipped that one. But yes, we have Toledo locked in at minus 21. Quickly rolling through some bets we're eyeing up. Keep an eye on the Action app for if we do end up firing away on these bets, starting in the NFL. One that I kind of like. Let me see what this number is now. This is Detroit at home. Detroit at home against the Browns. They are up to 9.5 right now. It's opened at 8.5. It's been bet up to 9.5, where I don't like it as much. I have this at 10.5. So let's see if this comes back down a little bit. The reason I haven't bet it, I should have jumped on that 8.5 and it was still out there. Kind of a dead zone, though. I mean, I think anything under 10 at this point is probably what we'll get on, but we'll wait and see here. Lions won on Monday night. I mean, this team, as a team we were down on, we have their under win total at 10.5. Browns are off that improbable win. So just like we are looking for the Packers bounce back, we are looking for the Browns. We're going to fade them on the road in Detroit, in the Dome, where their defense does not play as well on the road. I think they'll have a tough time stopping this dynamic Lions offense. And Lions defense isn't great, but the Browns also struggle moving the ball. So looking to bet the Lions here. I'm going to try to get them low number as we can. I don't know if this will jump. There are some 10s out there, so we might have to bet this one soon if we want to get on it. There still is the minus 9.5, minus 110, so we'll see. Stay tuned on that one. Next up, Chiefs-Ravens. I want to bet the Chiefs here as home dogs. I have this game at just Ravens by 0.7, and there was some threes at one point here, and those are long gone. Oh, there's still a 3 out there. I think we can still get a 3. May have to jump on that. It's minus 115, but across the market, it is minus 2.5. It is juiced up, though, so 3s might come back up. So we're going to wait and see where this line goes. If it goes to 3.5, we're definitely betting the Chiefs as home dogs. Probably will pull the trigger on the 3. I don't know if they can win this game outright after the Ravens got beat on Monday Night Football, but this is a spot where we want to bet the Chiefs as home dogs of 3 points or more. Definitely. And then Rams-Colts. Is it time to get off the Colts? I don't know. They've been dominant. I mean, their schedule hasn't been great other than beating the Broncos. And the Rams lost a heartbreaker. Oh, man. If kicking the game-winning field goal got it blocked, if you did bet the Rams last week, yeah, one of the worst beats that you will ever have. So that sucks. Rams should have made that field goal and won the game against the Eagles. But they get to come back home against the Colts. And Colts are 3-0. Do we know how good the Colts really are? Are they as good as they've been playing? Can Danny Dimes keep this up? I don't know. The Rams have a good defense. I think they can put pressure on Danny Dimes. We'll see if they can stop the run. That's really been the where the Colts have excelled in this Shane Steichen offense. But I have this game at 4.5. It's sitting at 3.5. I'm going to see if it goes down a little bit. If we get it at a field goal, might even just bet the money line at some point. Money line's a little high right now, up in the 190s. So would like to get a money line under 180 if possible, or a -3. So we will see. Want to bet the Rams this weekend. That game is circled, so stay tuned there. College football, there's a bunch of games that we're eyeing up. Mississippi State's a game that we like. Let's take a look at the current odds in some of these games here. Mississippi State, Tennessee. Yeah, this is all the way down. There's some 8s hanging around. Would love to have bet this at the 8.5, closer to 10-point mark. Tennessee going down on the road in Starkville. We have this projected at 7.5. This line's moved a ton, but it may have moved too far. We will see where this ends up. If it goes back up to 8.5, 9, may jump on it. I think this is most likely a 1-score game. Mississippi State has played really well. Do we really know how good they are? I don't know. Gonna think more about this one. Tennessee on the road. SEC, tough road game. We'll see. Pitt +5 at Louisville. The last time we saw the Pitt Panthers, they were blowing a game against their rival, West Virginia. Is this a good spot to buy low on the Panthers here? This game opened at 5.5. It's down to 4.5. I had it at 5 is where I was eyeing it up. It is down to 4.5 now. I do have this game at 3.2, so I see this being a field goal game. I think Pitt at home bounces back here against Louisville, but we're going to look more into this one. Game definitely we're eyeing up. A couple more. UCF. UCF's a lot better than I thought they were going to be. They're 6.5-point dogs right now against Kansas State, who we know is terrible. Kansas State's off the bye week. Did they get things right? I have this as them as a 3-point favorite, so a ton of value here on UCF. I'm just, UCF hasn't played a great schedule. They did beat North Carolina last week pretty handily at home. Now they go on a road. Kansas State off a bye week. Is Chris Kleiman going to get this thing turned around for this K-State team? I don't know. A lot of question marks right now. This game is down to 6 now. Let's still bet it at 6. So we're going to eye this up. I may pull the trigger on this one at 6 or higher. But yeah, still a lot of question marks around both these teams right now. The last game is going to be a great game too. That don't know if I'll get to. It's Auburn at Texas A&M. A&M, obviously big upset win over Notre Dame at Notre Dame at South Bend. Auburn lost a tough one last week against Oklahoma. Now they have to go on the road again at Texas A&M, and I think that's what's really holding me back here. A&M off that bye week. Auburn off this tough loss. Can they bounce back? I have this line at 5. It's at 6.5 now. Opened at 7, so it has dropped down a little bit. There's some 6s, so this number is still going down a little bit. One line up, circling. Would love to take Auburn here. I just don't feel great about the spot, so we will see. Cool. Last segment here. We are going to dive into the Blacklist. What is the Blacklist? These are games that we're hands off, not touching, not going to bet. These are games that we're going to love to watch. We're going to sit back and enjoy. But too many question marks, good numbers, and we're going to stay away. First one being the big matchup in Happy Valley, Oregon and Penn State. Penn State's 3.5-point favorites, and this is right. This line's we actually have Oregon's at just small dogs at 2. Penn State -2. And I would love to bet Oregon here. But this is at Penn State, whiteout game. I still don't know. Oregon's been crushing teams. I think they are really, really damn good, just like last year. I think they could be elite again. But this is at Penn State. Penn State's the team that we picked to win the national championship. I don't think they've really shown a ton in their first 3 games. Both teams have not played great schedules. So, once again, too many unknowns. I think Penn State could crush Oregon, or Oregon can win outright. I don't know. My numbers say take Oregon here as a 3.5-point dog. Maybe this is a field goal game. Maybe you lean towards Oregon. I would lean towards Oregon, or maybe even Penn State money line. I don't know. So going to love watching this game. It's going to be a hell of a game. Not betting it. It's on the Blacklist. Next one, Indiana, Iowa. We know what Indiana did to Illinois last week. But this is at Iowa. This game is, this is up to 8. I saw some 8.5s pop up at one point. I think those 8.5s are gone now, back down to Iowa. I think that's kind of the buyback point is around that 8.5 mark. Actually, there's some 7.5s popping back up here too. And really this comes down to Indiana can turn it on. They did this last year. We faded Indiana a few times when we thought there were some letdown spots. There were no letdown spots until they got to Ohio State. And they were just outmatched there. They're not outmatched here. This Iowa offense, I'm not putting a lot into what they did against Rutgers last week. The defense is good, but yeah, we're not touching this game. I'm not fading Indiana again. My numbers say fade Indiana. My numbers say take Iowa. I have this at 6. So I almost bet the 8.5. 8.5's gone. I don't think it's going to get any higher. I think 7.5, 8 is the right number. So we're going to watch this game, enjoy it. It's going to be intriguing. Maybe Iowa can pull an upset here. Maybe Indiana, maybe Illinois is just that bad. We will see. But on the blacklist, not touching this game. Next one we're going to really enjoy is Florida State, Virginia. Super intriguing game. This game is down to 6.5 now. 6.5, 7. We have Florida State by 9. Would love to bet Florida State here. But once again, I mean, they beat Bama. There's still a lot up in the air. Virginia has a great offense. They could move the ball. Is Florida State's defense as dominant as they've shown so far? Can they go on the road? Can they win this game outright? It's going to tell us a lot about Florida State. If they do cover this game, then absolutely Florida State's legit. This is a playoff team. If they don't, if they win a close game, maybe still up in the air. If they lose outright, obviously, then they're toast. And Alabama's probably toast as well. So this is a learn a lot game. We'll see what happens here, but not touching. Going to enjoy this game Friday night. Not touching this game. Next one up, another game I'm super interested in. USC is going to Illinois. Illinois got smacked last week by Indiana. At Indiana, they come back home. Can they bounce back here? They're 6.5-point dogs against USC. This USC team has been a juggernaut on offense again so far, but once again, who have they really played? Can we take a lot from this? They are traveling to the Midwest to play Illinois. Normally, if Illinois didn't get blown out against Indiana, if they just would have lost the game, I would be on Illinois here. But I don't know if they can bounce back from that in 1 week. Yeah, they gave up 60-some points to Indiana. What is USC offense going to do to this team? So this is one here where I have this raised at number. Well, I have USC at slate favorites. I want to take USC. I just don't like the spot them traveling to Illinois. And I don't know what kind of Illinois team we're going to get back here. They could get crushed again, and then they're toast for the season. Or Bielema can get them bouncing back here and keep this a close game. We will see. Going to enjoy watching this one. It's going to be a fun one to see what Illinois does here and see how good USC really is. So on the blacklist, staying away. Games we're going to watch, games we're going to enjoy, but not going to touch. NFL, there's a bunch. There's too many to list, but some of the big ones. Vikings, Steelers. Vikings are 2.5-point favorites in Dublin against the Steelers. It's no secret I'm a Steelers fan, and I have no faith in this team. Even if this is Carson Wentz, I would bet the Vikings. My numbers say pick the Vikings here, but I'm not betting Carson Wentz against the Steelers defense. Don't trust the Steelers offense to do anything against the Vikings. This is probably going to be an under. If I bet anything, I don't bet totals, but if I did, this would be one of them. But yeah, not touching this game. Going to watch it, obviously, bright and early Sunday morning out in Dublin, but I have no interest in betting either one of these teams right now. A couple of winless teams, Texans and the Titans. Once again here, I would love to bet Houston. They're one of the biggest edges I have this entire week. I think they're up to 7. I originally put this down at 6.5. I think it's up to 7 now. -9. I haven't projected at -9.6. I think they should crush the Titans. I just don't trust this Houston team. I just don't trust them at all. Don't want to touch this. I'm curious to see who gets their first win of the season. And Titans are an auto fade, but at the same time, the Texans have underachieved 0-3. This is a desperation game for them. I think they win it, but I'm not betting 7. I'm not playing 7 with this Texans team right now. Blacklist, not touching it. Dolphins, Jets. I don't got to talk much about this one. Tyrod versus Tua down in Miami. Had this right at 2.5. Ugly, ugly game. Want no part of this. Absolutely not touching this. Chargers -6, 6.5 against the Giants. Jackson Dart's first game. Super intriguing. I don't know how good this quarterback's going to be. This is a tough spot for the Chargers. Expect them to win this game pretty handily, but at the same time, I have this right at 5.5. Don't know how to factor in Jackson Dart, how good he's going to be. He may be terrible. Chargers may blow them out, or he may be electric, and this may be a close game. So going to watch this one, going to be intrigued by it, not touching it on the blacklist. There's a handful of other NFL games this weekend as well, folks. But yeah, not feeling the slate. I mean, we've got the Bills. It's massive 16.5-point favorites against New Orleans. No interest there. Tampa Philly is going to be a good one. I have Tampa is the team. only a 1-point dog here. Lean towards Tampa, but man, this team's on a run. I know Baker's been working his magic, winning these games, pulling them out, but Eagles won a close one, miracle game on the road. Never play good in Tampa. Don't feel good about taking Tampa Bay here. Yeah, Panthers, Patriots, Jags, Mac Jones revenge game. Can we get something here? I have this right at 3.5, so no value here in the number. Maybe Niners money line in the revenge spot for Max Jones against Jacksonville. Cincinnati, Denver. I don't want no part of Jake Browning going into Denver. You saw what the Vikings did to him last week. Imagine what this Broncos defense is going to do, but then also don't trust Bo Nix. I mean, this is could be a classic buy low spot at Cincinnati to keep this one within the 7.5. I have it right at 7. So maybe I'm undervaluing Jake Browning starting in this game. Maybe I should boost this up a few points to the Broncos, but yeah, it's 7.5 for a reason. Not touching this one. And last but not least, we got one more game in the NFL. I say this every week. I'm not a best bet kind of guy. I love all my bets equally. But, you know, this is a sports betting podcast, and you can't do a sports betting podcast unless you have a best bet. So this is the main event, the showstopper, the no-doubter. Say it with your chest. Stone Cold, Thor's Hammer, Nuclear Whale, play of the century. NT Sports best bet of the football weekend.
The main event, the showstopper, no doubter. Say it with your chest. Stone Cold, Thor's Hammer, Nuclear Whale, play bet of the century.
And we're going to the NFL for this one. Commanders at Falcons. Sunday, 1 p.m. in Atlanta, Georgia. We bet this Falcons +3, -120. This game opened at 3. It's down to 1.5 at most books. And we have this projected at Commanders -1. So love the value on the 3 here. Great bounce back spot. This is one of those games where the Falcons could not have looked any worse last week. They literally got shut out by the Carolina Panthers, 30-0. Penix got benched for Cousins late in the game. Atlanta claims today Penix is the guy. He's back. It was just because of the score that he got put on the bench. But if there's a get right spot for him, it's against these Commanders defense. And we like the Falcons to bounce back this week. I like them to win the game outright. And we still don't know as of this recording if Jalen Daniels is playing this weekend. He says he's good. I highly doubt they're going to rush him back. There's no reason to, especially with a knee. The history of quarterbacks having knee injuries in Washington being rushed back to play has not turned out so well. So I think they're going to be very conservative here. Mariota did look pretty well last week against the Raiders. So, but obviously there's a drop-off here between Mariota and Daniels. He's going on the road to the Falcons. Pseudo revenge spot. You know, Mariota had a shot in Atlanta to be the guy. Couldn't take advantage. So love this bet at 3. Love the Falcons to bounce back here. Penix get right game. Throws a couple touchdown passes against this Commanders pass defense. The Falcons saw what Mariota could do last week. Have some tape on them. They don't have an elite defense by any means, but I think their defense is much better than the Commanders at this point. So once again, bet early, guys. I mean, we got this at +3. I don't think unless Jaden Daniels is announced as the starter, unless he does come back this weekend, this line's probably going to keep getting pushed towards the Falcons. If not, it may flip to Falcons' favorite. So like I said, I would have only taken this anything above like the 2.5, 3 mark. If this number does come back up, jump on it. But our best bet, the showstopper of the weekend, is Falcons +3, -120. And that's it, folks. Long pod. We missed last week. Kind of lost my voice a little bit. Took a little break. I know. I'm weak. You can't miss a pod during football season. But hey, is what it is. Got a day job. It happens. But going forward, we're here every week throughout the rest of the football season. Not missing a week. Catch us on all the socials. Like I said, follow us on the Action app. We may play some more bets this weekend. Like, subscribe, rates, review, give us your feedback on the podcast. It helps us out, helps us grow. We want to keep doing this as long as possible. And then connect with us on the social platforms. We'll throw some commentary on there, maybe throw some bets on the socials as well, along with the Action app. But once again, appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. Thanks you for listening. Appreciate it. Good luck this weekend on all your bets. Let's bet smart, cash some tickets. And as always, good bets, good times. Cheers.